Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sorry A.
Sorry A.
How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
That's
I'm
good.
good.
I'm glad.
Good.
I'm glad.
How are you doing?
Honestly, man, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
I'm enjoying this wonderful weather we're having. It has been gorgeous today.
It has. It's true.
Yeah.
Had a nice sunset tonight. Can't complain.
Oh man, that was
gorgeous.
that was wonderful. I just hope that the good weather stays for a while.
Yeah, definitely brighten the mood.
I mean, being on the West Coast, it's kind of like, it's not the greatest.
Could rain. You never know.
Lots of rain. You only see sun for, June, July, August.
It's true.
That's about it.
A little bit in the spring, but it varies from year to year. But yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, well, first off, for the listeners, we thought we would touch on a topic today that you can just sit back, smoke a little bit of marijuana, herbs, and just enjoy what we talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking. What are we talking about today?
We
Christian?
are talking about astronomy. Like we're not scientists here.
Or yes.
So I'll just say, yeah, we're not scientists or astronomers or, we don't go and hang out on the moon and have massive parties.
It's true, we don't.
But we do like to just think about space and what kind of stuff is out there.
And everything in between. Many questions when it comes to the topic of space, that is for sure.
I think a lot of people start their days and go through their weeks and go through months and go through years, and they're stuck in such a rhythmic pattern of not really realizing what's past that blue sky that we see.
Other than what they know from media, obviously, like the moon and obviously photos of the Earth from the space station.
I don't even think it's that. I think people just really don't think about space unless you're in sciences or in, have chosen that. Unless you've chosen that career path. But I find it fascinating, and that's not even my career path. Like, people like sci-fi movies like to see things that are unrealistic, or are they in the future,
Very well could be.
I also, it's just...
It's a lot to think about.
It is a lot to think about. Like, here we are, we're situated on Earth, which is a massive planet, but not really compared to other planets in our solar system. And then, our solar system is our solar system, and then you go past our solar system, and then you're getting out into the other galaxies, and
there's so much.
The
complexity of it.
The complexity and going past and not understanding what is past our solar system and what else could be out there.
There's so many questions that are unanswered, and that will be unanswered for years to come.
I think it's fantastic, though.
Of course, it keeps you thinking. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. Before we started this podcast, though, we decided to watch a film just to give us a little bit of inspiration prior to, talking about this topic. I mean, it's not that we need inspiration, and there's a lot of things we could talk about, but just to kind of get the blood
boosted
pumping.
A little bit.
Yeah, boosted a bit. And we actually watched the Bob Lazar.
We just watched it.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't paying attention to his name. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, Bob Lazar. And I found that documentary fascinating. And it kind of really does leave you wondering why or how or, was that true?
Maybe. You'll never know.
But what are your thoughts, Jordy?
Well, okay. So I've always been one to take huge amounts of information and just take my own time to process it. So after watching that documentary, I'm left with more questions than answers. And as of right now, I have to say that I kind of do believe him, just based on some of the information I already know, some of the information that obviously, coincidentally comes up at the same time. And, some of the vast knowledge that we're still have yet to learn, antimatter engines and shit like that, gravity engines and shit.
I find it so fascinating.
Oh, 100%.
But you get into it and you start thinking he took 4 polygraph tests. The
FBI raided his house after he openly admitted, or so we are led to believe, about possibly removing a controlled substance from a controlled laboratory setting.
Yeah, and that would be element 115 that was synthesized in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I find it fascinating because he has no comment on that, whether he did take something from them. And every time somehow he gets brought into, or the media, whether it was in the 80s or brought into the media now in 2019, 2020, and every time he's brought into the media or starts doing interviews or starts doing this, somehow the FBI or everybody's kind of keeping a watch on him, aware. As if, and they are aware. And it's kind of starting to show like, oh, maybe he is telling the truth.
The one thing that really... Now, this is going to slightly veer off topic for a split second here. I'm a big believer in the whole Big Brother theory sort of situation about how there's some Overwatch situation with security cameras, at least somewhere in the world, not to name any places. But I have a feeling that in the documentary, when halfway through that interview out in the middle of the forest, they were discussing element 115 and what happened with it, they skipped right over all the information and then cut to a part where they said, maybe we should turn our fucking phones off and put it in the ditch over here. Yeah. And then next day, the FBI raids.
But I didn't realize that. Like, I didn't realize I because they started the interview and he was talking about something that he hadn't told anybody before. And I'm like, okay, well, what's he gonna tell us? Like, what is this information that he has never told anybody before? And then all of a sudden you don't get to find out what the information was. And the only person that probably got to know was the guy that did this documentary.
If that.
And now it's like, okay, well, what was it?
You know what would make me laugh so hard? If this was just the U.S. government's marketing tactic to reveal the next big thing. The next big thing.
Well, I mean, you just clipped the fuck out of your mic.
I know I did. So. I laughed right into it, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. But yeah, no, it's it's interesting to see. There's a lot of things that I believe probably are withheld from the public. If you take a look at everything that's kind of going on right now with, I know we touched on it in our last podcast. It was about the COVID-19 stuff, but if you look at that and how much panic something like this, on the planet, and you're looking at all this chaos, it's like, okay, well, what if everybody found out that UFOs or aliens or some sort of life outside of Earth was real?
The amount of panic that would ensue at that point would be uncontrollable. People wouldn't know how to handle it. It would be mass chaos. Obviously, finding out that there's another civilization that you've known about for yay long, obviously people are going to be upset.
If Bob Lazar was dating back to 1980s, well, look at that. You've got 40 years.
A hot minute.
Yeah.
And this
40 years
topic
ago
has been kind of skimmed over since then too.
But besides the if, ands, or buts, like, what do you believe? Like, a lot of people have different beliefs on, whether there's life out there or, it's just us. And I have a very, very hard time believing that everything out there that we can't even reach out to yet,
we don't know.
We don't know. But I truly, no, it's not that we'll never know. It's just a matter of time until we do know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because technology is going to get so great that, your average guy will be able to go buy something powerful enough to look out into the galaxy.
Neuralink, Elon Musk's project, where he's trying to fucking integrate the brainstem with technology.
Yeah, but Neuralink is, Elon Musk is, that's to connect you to the internet.
Well, no, of course. But still, that's an advancement moving forward for civilization that, other civilizations out there might actually already have developed. So
yeah. See, Elon Musk is a god. I look up to him and I appreciate it. I really do appreciate everything that he's doing. He's very smart. Everything he's doing with Mars, everything that, they say like, oh, like, Mars is, we've got lots of science stuff we're doing with Mars. Okay. And you're sitting here like, well, what are you doing with Mars? Like, come on, it's 2020. Like, let's get some information.
Mars 2020,
let's find something cool that's going on Mars.
We're about to.
And then I've read articles where it's like, oh, well, you could potentially nuke Mars and allow it to turn into a habitable planet.
I read this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but then if you nuke Mars, then there's some side effects that come with that.
Yeah, the half-life decay period of time that you have to deal with.
And then there was if we had the technology, why don't we just pull it into the habitable zone?
And
and you're looking at me. You're looking at me, and you're like,
That somewhat ties into the Bob Lazar thing though, because if you think about it, they're using gravity. They're controlling gravity with what machine he was referring to in the documentary. If we could get our hands on that information, or at least that kind of technology, that's something that could be plausible within, an extent of time and patience.
Well, you have to. That's when it comes to think like, okay, besides Elon Musk, like, what do you think, like Area 51 is doing? What kind of
Russia?
What
China?
kind of like what kind of things do you think they're testing at the Nevada test site? You know, there's more than just Area 51. Like, they've got Area 19, Area 20, Area 18, which is like, it's a parachute airstrip. You've got Area 12, Area 8, and so on. Area 51 is just an area out of a lot of different areas. And you can look at the map, and then you can kind of dive into more things like Area 51 kind of is conspiracy central. You look at all the, the whole Bob Lazar thing, right? Working at S4, and then you go to like, there's no visitors at all. Is it another conspiracy? And then you think of like, what are they actually testing there?
It's kind of crazy. Like, I don't even want to begin to think about what they could possibly be testing at any of those facilities, not necessarily even just Area 51, because I think it's common knowledge that the amount of information about Area 51 is so classified that we'll probably, at least in our lifetimes, never know 90% of the stuff that they're working on there. And you think about it, like, obviously dating back to the early 1900s, 1800s, and so on. Well, not 1800s, sorry, 1990s, 1980s, 1970s, 60s, so on and so forth, when obviously it was a race between different countries to launch the next big project in space, in aviation. Obviously, trying to get to the moon was a goal for every single country that they were fighting for.
But then do you think, the United States says, oh yeah, the moon landing, it was the biggest thing on television, but then you think, okay, well, a lot of people think that the moon landing was fake.
Yeah. Actually, hold on.
You can Google that right now and kind of check it out, but it's it's one of those things where it's like, okay, no, like you know that people are actually going up there. You've got Chris Hadfield. He's the Canadian astronomer, right, or astronaut. And
astronomer's good, yeah.
Yeah, but you look at all the stuff he talks about, and I truly believe people have gone to space. I truly believe people have gone to Mars. Or not Mars. Sorry, my brain was like looking out the window, and I'm like thinking, look at Mars. I see it right now. No, but I don't think anything was faked. But like, besides talking about Area 51 and all these things that are going on our Earth,
yeah,
then you really start to reach out and start to think like, man, like some of these planets out there like rain diamonds.
Yeah,
like.
It's like a fucking particle rain, on some, or dust storms.
And you've got like Saturn's moon, is walnut shaped.
True, it's true,
because it absorbed some of Saturn's rings. And you start to think about like all these abnormal things that aren't happening on Earth. Like, Earth is so normal, and it's like the habitat of Earth provides us with a living environment, and to us, Earth is normal. But if you start to look at other planets or lifelike planets that could be further away, if there's water, chances are there's probably cells, and if there's cells,
some form of life.
If there's there's some form of life. It doesn't mean it needs to be like an alien. Doesn't mean it needs to be you know, some massive creature that knows how to fly some sort of craft, and, you know,
It could be a microbe. It could be a fish. It could be an amphibian. It could be, you know, some.
But it wouldn't even be classified as anything that we know. It wouldn't be called a fish.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be called an amphibian or a mammal. It would have its own complete category because the way it's living is based off of something else. Whether it has living
in a pure gaseous atmosphere that we couldn't breathe.
Yeah, exactly. It could be more carbon dioxide than oxygen. Man, it's like you start to think about these things and it's like it really bothers you.
The way I look at it is there's more planets and suns and moons and so on and so forth out in the visible universe. You enjoying that water over there?
Fantastic.
Not a sponsor. You look at all these planets that we can at least see. I'm putting air quotes right now for those who can't see, obviously, because it's a podcast. There's more of those out there than there are grains of sand on the Earth. And you and I live fairly close to beaches, and that's a lot to process if you think about it in that perspective.
Well, just think like, okay.
So I have no doubt in my mind that out there somewhere, there's something. It's just a matter of what.
Okay, dude, you take a look at a grain of sand, like you just said, like there's more, you know, and you think, okay, like look at the size of us. And then you zoom out perspective-wise and you're like, okay, look at Earth. You can't see anybody standing on Earth because you're just looking at the Earth. Mm-hmm. And then you zoom out from Earth and then you start to see other things. And then if you look, and if you take a look just outside of your window and you look up and you see the brightest star in the sky and it has a little bit of an orange tinge to it, that's Mars. And you're looking at something that looks like it. Dude, I'm not even kidding you. It is literally looks like a star, and that is a planet, right? We look the same. We have a glisten. We're reflecting light. We look like a star as well to other, like when you're looking far, far, far in the distance, you're looking probably in our galaxy, maybe not, who knows, but
definitely within our galaxy.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't think anybody.
Well, I mean, I'm not a fucking astronomer.
Fair enough.
You know, but you know, you're looking at all these stars, and it's crazy to think. Hey, fun fact for you though: our sun takes 99% of the mass in our total galaxy.
Really?
No, in our solar system, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
I was going to say our galaxy.
No, yeah, our solar system. But there's more. Did you know? Oh, this is a cool fact. Look at this one I just pulled up. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way.
Yeah, I believe that.
Not for long. Global warming. But
that's a whole other. Wait,
hold on. But there are way more stars in the universe than grains of sand on Earth.
Exactly, that's what I just said.
I know. I'm going through my fact list. Everybody, calm down, okay?
Okay, all right.
Wait, a day on Venus is longer than a year on Mars. Wait, what?
Yeah.
A day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus. Wait, hold on. I just gave myself like.
Are you speaking English to me?
No, dude, it literally says a day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus.
Is there anything to support that claim?
Okay, wait, hold on. It takes Venus 243 Earth years to do a full rotation on its axis, but 225 Earth days to do an orbit of the sun. My head hurts thinking about that.
Oh my God.
Oh,
that actually.
Dude, just wait. The boot prints from the moon landing will probably still be there millions of years from now.
Yeah, because the atmosphere doesn't have.
Yeah, dude, you can't. Dude, there's no sound in space. So if I screamed, if I screamed in space, you wouldn't be able to hear me.
No. Well,
no, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
That's crazy.
There's nothing. You ain't got nothing on me, boy. And Mars is inhabited by solely robots.
It's true.
And this is my last fun fact, and then you can veer into your next topic, Jordy.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the planets in the solar system could fit between the Earth and the Moon leaving 4,990 miles to spare.
Yeah, I believe that. Does that include the sun?
Dude,
Oh, no, sorry, yeah.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does. Crazy.
That is crazy. All right, well, I have 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
My first one, it's not as serious of a topic, but I do want to debate with you. Your thoughts, the true facts, answered here. Do you think Pluto deserves to be a planet?
Oh, dude, 100%.
Okay,
you want to know why? Okay, well, first off, I grew up learning that there was, what was it, 9 planets? Was it 9? Yeah, it was 9. It was 9.
It was 9.
Yeah, it was 9.
Yeah.
Including Pluto.
Yes.
And then they're like...
Wait.
Yeah, no, I believe
it was 8.
No, it's 9. It's 8 now. It's 8 now.
Is it?
Yeah, well, let's just Google
it.
Let's fact check ourselves.
Planets are there.
Yeah.
8 planets.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not including Mars. Yeah, so I was right. Okay.
Not including Mars. You mean Pluto?
Dude, I'm not having a good night tonight.
Oh, it's okay. I apologize.
Okay?
Okay.
Just kidding. But yes, Pluto was a part of life growing up, going to school in elementary school.
It's nostalgic.
I remember the big banner that would be at the top of the classroom, and it would list all the planets, and they'd be like, make sure to learn your solar system, kids. And I'd be like, okay. And then to this day, can I name all of them? Probably not. Do I like to think about them, even though I don't know the name of them? Yeah, obviously.
Of course.
But Pluto? Yeah, sure, it's far away. Sure, it's really cold. Sure, it took us how many months to get there? 9? 9 months?
I thought it took a little bit longer than that, didn't it?
I think it's 9 months to get to Pluto. But, we go all the way out to Pluto and, do a little flyby. And
12.5 years.
12 years. Wait, but we've gone there.
The Voyager spacecraft, which is sending the message to outer space.
Oh, that's the one that did a flyby in 2000. Oh, damn. Was it 11?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
No, wait. No. The Voyager. No,
there's 2. There's 2 Voyagers.
Yes.
And it's just going on forever.
Yeah. And it has the golden record on it.
Can we it's if it finds something?
Yeah, so there's a basic explanation of human life, a basic explanation of our language system and how we communicate, and then there's a basic explanation of our music and our culture with certain words and our country names and shit like that. And then there's music from that era also on a golden record that's attached to it, the plaque that's on the spacecraft.
Interesting.
How dank is that?
But the thing is, even if that got somewhere, we wouldn't know that it got somewhere.
No, of course not, because the technology on it is just propulsion forward. Constantly.
Yeah, you can't communicate with it because it was sent so long ago.
But there is a map of the solar system in very basic terms as well, too, pointing us to where we are in the galaxy, I think, from what I remember. So that if it is within the galaxy, they can be like, okay, so here's that, here's that, here's that. That means that they are here, if they knew how to read it.
But is it fake news? Is there actually already contact that we've had?
Okay, Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, dude.
Holy fuck.
Okay. No, okay.
Composure.
Wait, we're composing a song?
Well,
maybe later.
Apollo 13.
Maybe another time. But yeah, I think that's really cool. I think anything cool in the terms of we've sent basically a time capsule. I remember I went to Calgary, dude, and they have a time capsule in Chinook Mall.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
And they have to, they'll open it when it flips over to 3,000.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, hey?
Yeah.
I know they have one for every town generally has one. Did you ever make one with your parents in elementary or middle school?
I'm not 100% sure. I think maybe.
I for sure did,
but
I
it's
have no idea
gone.
where
Like,
it
I
is.
don't care, dude. Like,
Yeah.
we're at the point now where it's like you don't need to make a time capsule.
Everything's so digitalized.
Yeah, it's like, oh, time capsule. Sure, I'm just gonna write this. I'm just gonna write this down in my documents. I'm just gonna be like, okay, here's a picture of this. Here's a picture of this. I don't even know what I'm Googling
I'm
right now.
literally curious.
I'm just hitting my keyboard.
I'm curious how that combination of letters that you just spammed into your fucking search bar did come up with 1976 NASA authorization.
Okay, let's click this. I actually did kind of spam. I spammed something onto
Google and the first thing that came up was NASA. Conspiracy theories.
What is this?
Dude, is that fucking NASA documentation?
Maybe I shouldn't be on this page. Let's go to the top of this. Let's actually check this out. 1976 NASA. Whoa, dude, I've got like a freaking hard copy. Like,
Oh my
hold on.
fucking god, dude.
Wait, what is this, dude? This is straight 1976 NASA. Okay, wait, don't clip your mic, buddy.
Sorry.
Hearings, Space Science and Applications Committee on Science and Technology, U.S. House of Representatives. Volume 2, Part 1, printed for the use of the Committee of Science and Technology. Oh, boy. Contents, witnesses, appendixes, Mountain View, California, Lockheed Missiles and Space Coast, Sunnyvale, California, Goddard Space Flight Center, Earth Resources Survey Program, Pollution Monitoring. Oh, I want to click that. Oh, wow, it took me to it. That's pretty impressive for a 1976 PDF.
It's a PDF.
I know, I'm just kidding. Events of the past years have done much to confirm the need for national programs in pollution monitoring. Well, that's not in
Of
effect
course.
any day today.
That's a different
But this is
podcast.
1976. They were monitoring it.
Can you please spell out exactly what you wrote in the Google search bar to get to that?
I did semicolon RF semicolon OQIRF, and it popped up the 1976 NASA authorization. And I guess that's just,
Interesting.
yeah, cool.
Anyways, moving forward. So yes, you do consider Pluto to be a planet.
Yes, I do. Sorry,
Okay.
I totally forgot that.
No, that's okay.
Do you?
I would say so for the exact same reason as you. I mean, I grew up knowing it as a planet, and I don't really think their reasoning was... Like, do you remember what their reasoning for defacing it as a planet was?
I can Google it. Why was Pluto demoted? What a savage term. In 2005, Eris, a dwarf planet in the scattered disk, which is 27% more massive than Pluto, was discovered. Wasn't that Planet X?
I thought so.
This led the International Astronomical Union, the IAU, to define the term planet, quotation, formally in 2006 during their 26th General Assembly. That definition excluded Pluto and reclassified it as a dwarf planet.
So it's space rock.
No, it's not. It's frozen.
True. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Pluto's frozen. Now the thing is, they take pictures of Pluto. They've never gone to Pluto and been like, "Hey, we're gonna just land something on this freezing surface."
I thought they tried to. I thought they sent a mission. They might have.
Did they? I'd be interested to know what could potentially be on Pluto's surface.
Well, you never know because there's such a thick layer of ice, right?
Pluto mission 2015.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
The New Horizons mission. The first mission to the Pluto system, and the journey, the New Horizons, launched on January 19th, 2006. It swung past Jupiter for a gravity boost.
Yeah.
That's kind of dope. And scientific studies in February 2007 conducted a 6-month-long wow. That's too big of a word for me. I'm stupid. A flyby study of Pluto and its moons on summer 2015. Now, sending a spacecraft on this long journey is helping to answer basic questions about the surface properties, geology, interior makeup, and atmospheres on these bodies. So nobody's actually landed on
anything
Pluto.
on Pluto.
No, but that makes me want to know how cold is Pluto. It's cold.
I imagine it would be. It's so far away from the sun.
It's minus 223 degrees Celsius.
Ooh. Oof. Big yikes. Interesting. Okay. Now, I do have another question for you, Christian.
Yep. Hit me, bro.
So, what's the deepest question you've always yearned to have answered about space? Is it related to UFOs? Is it related to life? Is it related to where does it end? Is it related to, how do we exist? So on and so forth. Talk to me, buddy. I want to know these things.
So a lot of people ask me or want to know they're like, what's your beliefs? And I believe in science. I believe a lot in science, right? Mm-hmm. If you think of it in the sense of, we're humans, animals are animals, fish are fish, cells are cells, and you start to break it down. My biggest question I have to ask is, and because I'm human, I ask this question, even though it should be, it should just be a solidified answer that I know is correct. But if you were to take a cell, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just use a virus as an example. If you get sick with like a flu or you have a cough, you have cells, the bacteria cells that your body is fighting off. Each cell, right? Each cell is different.
Of course.
Right? We are all different. We started as a cell, right? Think of it in the sense of, if we die, or if a cell dies, that cell was unique. You're not going to see the exact same cell again. And when the cell's gone, right?
As far as what I know, at least.
Yeah. We're basically filled with cells. We basically are we're a walking cell that has mutated into what we are now today. Just from distant relatives and, whatever, right?
Yeah.
My biggest question is, do you believe in reincarnation?
Do you really want to know my answer to that?
Yeah.
It's a long one. Not super long, but
my biggest question is sure. So, my biggest question, sorry, I'm dragging on here, but my biggest question is, what created this perfectly aligned, people could say God, and I have no problem with views of God, and I have no problem if you don't believe in God, and I have no problem if everybody has a different God, and everybody has a different view.
Everybody's different, of course.
Everybody's different. Now, I really do believe in science very strongly. But if you start to think of science, was there something or someone, and when you start to think of aliens or people or somewhere further out in some other galaxy, was somebody or something there to just flick the switch to create all of this crazy, this galaxy, this universe?
Do you want me to blow your fucking mind right now?
Dude, my mind is just blown thinking about it, and because the human brain can't necessarily comprehend, think past, what existence is. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. We know it started with a Big Bang, and we know it started we understand the Big Bang. If the Big Bang expanded even just a little bit more than it expanded, it would have recontracted and gone back to nothing.
Exactly.
Right? And we wouldn't exist. Mm-hmm. So something had to be done so perfectly to create everything that we have now. And that blows my mind.
So do you know of the particle accelerator, CERN?
No.
Okay. It's, that whole situation where they're trying to take two atoms, spin them around in a circle, and smash them together to create, or so they say, recreate essentially what happened when the quote-unquote Big Bang happened.
Yes.
The atom smashing.
I have heard, yes.
Okay, so CERN is the company, or at least the building or facility that is doing that. And I mean, if you just vaguely think about it, if they were to smash two atoms together, the Big Bang were to happen, something crazy were to happen in their small little test area, and they were successful with it, could that possibly be another form of exactly what happened when our universe was created? Somebody else smashed two atoms together when they became technologically advanced enough. Like, there's so many different things that you could think about. Could it be as simple as maybe there was a specific reaction of certain elements at the exact same time with the right amount of force, the right amount of pressure, the right amount of temperature, that all of a sudden it created this massive, like, I'm just going off the Big Bang theory here because honestly, it's a topic that's so far beyond me and what I'm capable of comprehending.
But what's that Dr. Seuss one where they're like inside of a dandelion, there's like a full new world?
Oh, Horton Hears a Who.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you think of it on that level of Horton Hears a Who, like, and you get into that and you start to think, like, is somebody like just looking, or like you start to talk about like, are we in a simulation?
Are we in a simulation? That's what scares
are we in the Matrix?
Fuck out of me. Because like, if you think about it in a realistic sense,
who knows?
If we would never know. We're on the edge of creating our own version of, virtual reality, our own version of being in a fucking simulation.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you watch The Matrix and they explain how it talks about, sure, that's like, it's not facts, it's fiction, right? But, and then you start to think, okay, like, the wall that we have here is the wall.
How do we know that it's not just written code?
Yeah, exactly.
How do we know that it's just not written code that we can't pass through because we were told that we can't pass through it? How do we know that its color is that color?
We can't defy that. Like, yes, we know somebody built it. We know that somebody physically came here.
We watched it happen.
We watched somebody build something, and you can't you can't do that. You can't take the properties of how cement was made and just defy us as a human. Will just walk through.
But then you take Sims and you build a wall in Sims,
exactly.
And you watch them build it there too.
I've watched.
If you're in a real in-depth simulator, you watch them make the fucking cement too.
Well, yeah, and you watch like, dude, you literally watch, and you're like, okay, like these people, we're creating Sims, and we're creating these fantasy worlds and creating these people, right? Like, what if? Just think as, okay, now we've got VR, we've got virtual reality, we've got all these things that technology is advancing. Who's to say that technology was so advanced in somebody else's time that they didn't just create this?
And that's what the ancient ruins were. How do we know that it just enough time hadn't passed for that kind of stuff? And that those ancient markings aren't exactly like the Voyager spacecraft that we sent out.
You go super far back and you go Great Pyramid of Giza, and you look at that, and that the tip of that pyramid lines up perfectly true north with and it's how the solar system. And that's how they navigated. But it's like, okay, well, how did they have the technology back then before anybody discovered space to know that was true north? And then you get to the thing, it's like, okay, well, what if Mars was like Earth now, and Mars became the planet that didn't have life anymore, and they had to leave Mars and they had to come here to the next closest thing, and they're like, oh yeah, we see it, we have the technology, look at that planet, that would work perfect. There's water, there's trees, there's the desert, there's this, there's that.
That's insane. Like, thinking about like the possibilities of what could be going on that we don't know about. And the same thing goes for outer galaxy planets too. Like, there could be a solar system 356,000 light years away from us, or whatever, a ridiculous amount of time and distance there is out there. And there could be another planet exactly like ours on a lesser or a higher level of technological advancement. And they could, take on same similar shape form as us or completely different. We don't fucking know these things. It's always the questions that we're going to be asking until we find something out.
Well, that's like, you see it pop up every once in a while, and it's like, oh, okay, like, now you see NASA, it's like, yeah, they just found a new planet, and that's me referring to like Kepler 452b, and quoted to be the Earth 2.0, and it's its cousin based on certain characteristics, and it's and then you type in Kepler and you look at images of it, and it's literally looks, the way they've simulated it, it looks like it could be another Earth, just the way that it is. Like there could be,
and it very well could be,
and you don't know what could be on there. Like it might not be an old enough planet where you have dinosaurs.
It might be the point. It might be the point where they're at the prehistoric stage, and the atmosphere could be slightly different from what we're at now.
Yeah, and there's
so many factors that you have no idea.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy, man.
And the other thing too is, back to jumping the topic that we were discussing in the very beginning, if we do know this information, are they really going to tell us?
Probably not.
That was a nice pause. I appreciate that pause.
Yeah. But no, it's like, man, it's just one of those things where you think about it and you're like, you just don't know.
I don't think I'll know in my lifetime.
No, but the thing is, like, you have to think, like, you're 24. I'm 22. And, dude, when our parents were younger, they were watching the Jetsons. They were watching shows where it was like, oh, look at that. Like, and 90% of the things that were in Jetsons are happening now. So you watch shows and things happen where it's like, oh, look at that. Cool, man. Like, we're watching movies where they're traveling through space to go find her, Yeah. It's like, that could be a possibility by the time we're like 60 or 70. We're the old guys and we're watching this new young generation grow up, and they're doing all this stuff that we're talking about now.
It's true. It's exactly what it's going to be like. And at that point, we're going to be the ones like, what do you mean iPhone 97? Like, it's going to be the next fucking...
No, but the thing is, it's not, though. Like, we're going to be 70 and we're going to have grown up in this technology and have access to it, and we'll constantly just know how to work it.
Maybe.
No, but we will. That's the thing. Like, our brains have grown up in this technologically advanced era where we have, touch of our fingertips, we can search something or find out a fact or cheat on a test or whatever it is, because those answers are out there, and we have everything that's placed at our fingertips.
Yeah, we're living in a very, I would say, a privileged society when it comes to per se North America, or countries where the technology is just free to use for the entirety of the public. It could be a significantly more restricted lifestyle, because if, the government thought, oh, this technology, the internet could be dangerous, everybody's going to find out everything about everything, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, man, like, it's scary. It's really scary to think about, it's really scary to think about, like, artificial intelligence stuff, and that's another.
We're gonna get into.
We're gonna get into that in a different episode. But like, man, like, it's scary. It's scary to think like, is what I'm looking at out the window right now, is that a star? Is that a plane? Or is that
a projection like the Hunger Games?
No, like, I'm physically looking at something, and I don't see any lights as if it's a plane. I have no idea.
Could be a star. Could be a UFO.
No, it's definitely a plane. It's moving kind of fast, though. Could be the space station. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a plane. Maybe.
Could be some of the space junk out there from rocket missions that failed or something.
No, it's definitely a plane.
You're fixated on that. I'm curious.
Well, come take a look at this, man.
I am.
You've got two objects.
Oh, that's for sure a plane.
Yeah. Now, what was that fact that we pulled up yesterday? Oh, how fast the space station's traveling.
Oh yeah. What you said? You said it was what?
No, it's 4.6 kilometers per second or something like that, or
It's
close
yeah.
to.
It's 7.66 kilometers per second.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
So it's only orbiting at 408 kilometers either. So 27,000 kilometers an hour, my guy.
Yeah, what was it? Every 90 minutes it circles the Earth?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that's whack, dude. Like, and because like there's actually like when you're up in space, like technically there really is no sense of speed, right? Like you don't have like
Exactly.
you could be flying, you could be doing Mach dick, and you could be literally going at light speed. Yes, you'd feel it. You'd be dead.
Yeah,
but
you'd
like
be
if
fucking
you could be
falling apart.
traveling like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 kilometers an hour, and you wouldn't know you'd be going that fast.
And keep in mind too, that's relevant to like, are they spinning the opposite direction of the Earth's
Because
rotation?
there's no gravity.
And there's no gravity. So like, could that just be the compensation of the speed, or is it like they're actually going that fucking fast in the same motion as the Earth? Like, it's crazy.
Well, how fast? Let's see. How fast is? Yeah, there we go. So the Earth is moving 460 meters per second, or roughly 1,000 miles per hour.
So the space station's going a lot faster.
No, so the Earth is going one way, the space station's going the opposite direction.
Yeah, so it's
and you're allowing for
That's
a really
crazy.
fast rotation around. But you think, okay, well, if I'm going to drive my car, it's going to take me thousands of days
Yeah.
to go all the way around.
But that's also due to like obviously terrain constraints where the roads are, obviously, you know, rivers, lakes, oceans, that kind of shit. So you'd never be able to unless you were even in a plane. And I think how long does it take for a 747 to fly around the Earth?
I think it's like 30
44
hours.
hours.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah, you were close. 44 hours. Yeah, that's wow. That's
44
2
hours.
days.
Yeah. So
a trip to LA
from
is
here,
the equivalent.
Well, dude, if you think about it, you want to know really. Okay, I really don't believe that those are planes, brother.
Let me take another look.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, like they're just circling around having a good time.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude. What are the odds we're just here just talking about this and having a good time? And there's like, I'm not even kidding. For those who are listening to this now, like this is some whack stuff. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, you film that.
I am gonna film that.
And we'll add a link to this.
Yeah, I'll post it on my story on Instagram.
While we're doing, that was one other thing that I wanted to start talking about was gravity. And when we were watching this documentary, like antimatter and like gravity is like being able to like, for one thing that Bob Lazar said was oh yeah, like, you know, basically you're bending space and time, and that's how these crafts are able to move by using just gravity, right? They're creating a type of like fuel.
Not even fuel. They're creating a propulsion system without the requirement of a source to burn.
Yes.
Without a requirement of a fuel. It's literally fucking
they're
genius.
bending. It's basically a force field.
Yeah.
They're
exactly.
bending space-time.
Which
and bending
is possible,
gravity.
100% possible, because black holes are the prime example of bending space-time, warping space-time, speed of light, you know, all that kind of stuff. But if you really think about it, I don't think that's stuff that we're going to be capable of during our lifetime, you and me at least. Possibly near peak end of it, if you know the stories of Area 51 having that technology are true and they are somehow able to reverse engineer it. You know, possibly, unlikely, but at the end of the day, you know, you think about it, and it's one of those mysteries where, will we ever know?
Dude, it's such an interesting topic to think about, and I love space so much, and that would have been a career I would have loved to go into if I didn't have a career that I loved more, and that's thankful for that. I chose the correct direction to go, but I would have loved astronomy. Like, yeah. I love it, man. It's fantastic. It's such a cool...
The thing is with astronomy, you're really not feeling okay about those.
There's three of those guys now up in the sky.
They could be helicopters. Maybe they're looking for somebody.
Dude, look at it now. Look at them cross. Look at them cross their paths.
Oh, wow. There is 3 now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's crazy, dude. Well, that one's a plane.
That one's for sure a plane. That one actually probably just took off.
Honestly, dude, screw those guys.
Yeah, we're in our own world.
Yeah, man.
But for real, I think space is one of those topics where if I were to have pursued it outside of school and such, there's an unlimited amount of questions you can ask. And in that field, asking questions is how you move forward, how you advance.
Oh, totally, man. And one thing like I do want to do is, because this is such a, you can only talk about so much in one sitting, in one session, because we're coming up on that 1 hour mark. It's like, it's one of those things where like you can definitely tie this into other topics when you start to talk about like artificial intelligence and technology and how far you could go with it. Mm-hmm. But man, like I think about space quite often.
So do I.
Like, Jordy, if you look straight out the window right now, you can see Mars. Like, I was not kidding. It's there. Right there. Yeah, it's right there. It's at the same spot every night.
You can see the North Star. You can see constellations, which have been around for thousands of years. You know, there's so much to think about. The coolest thing to me is when you look up at the sky and the clouds replicate what the sand looks like on the beach after the tide goes out.
Yes.
And you think about it and you're like, the moon is what controls the tide. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, if the moon ever got wiped out or something happened to the moon, we'd be screwed.
Tidal systems would be fucked, yeah.
No, not even that. Like,
it has a big impact on the Earth. I don't know exactly everything off the top of my head.
Dude, should we finish this podcast off by finding that out?
We could.
What would happen
if the moon was gone?
If the moon blew up?
You're going to get an aperture.
Similar to what would happen if there was no moon. A moon explosion would change the Earth's rotation and the size of the Earth's tide. The moon slows down the Earth's rotation, but a moon explosion would disrupt the friction. So this is 7 ways the Earth would change if her moon was destroyed. Destroying the moon would send debris to Earth, but it might not be life exterminating.
Debris?
Yeah, it would send debris. The night sky would naturally be much brighter.
Yeah, because
the moon's not pulling all that away. Mm-hmm. Eclipses would be no more, because I actually read a fact that the moon, I think it's the moon and the sun, or something to do with distances, are the exact same from Earth to. It's like the moon and the sun and the Earth.
They're at the exact precise distance to cause an eclipse.
Yes. So
which
eclipses
I think is a fucking miracle in its own.
Oh, I know. It's very cool. The length of the day would remain constant. Mm-hmm. So we might only lose a second here or there over many centuries, but over a 24-hour day, like nothing would change. Like it would just be the same. That's that's what creates like
time and
shit
like that.
It's the pull, right? It's the gravity. So our tides would be tiny. High tide and low tide presents an interesting vast difference. So our tides on Earth are basically primarily due to the moon, with the sun only contributing just a small fraction. Our axial tilt would be unstable.
It's true. I know.
So Earth spins at 23.4 degrees with respect to our orbital plane around the sun. So the moon is a stabilizing force. Worlds without big moons like Mars see their axial tilt change by 10 times as much over time. So, and then it would be, we would no longer have our stepping stone to the rest of the universe.
Yeah, the moon helps us in moving forward with space advancements. It's crazy. I think I do have another question for you. We have about 5 minutes left here.
Come on, man. Speak up. Let's go, man. Give me this topic. I'm just kidding.
Your thoughts. Have aliens visited us? Are aliens currently in contact with us or watching us? And how do you feel about that? Very quickly, summarized.
I believe that aliens have contacted Earth. I do believe that. Do I believe that they are a threat to us? No. I believe that the we come in peace. What was that film? The one where they spoke in a different language.
Arrival.
Yes, Arrival. If
Universal language.
Yes, a universal language that was provided to the world those aliens in Arrival came to teach us something that we needed, and they knew that we needed it. It was a resource because they knew we were here, but we didn't know they were there.
And because of the miscommunication, the disconnect, we were under the understanding that they were referring to it as a weapon, not a tool. But it was a tool for everyone, which in some cultures could also be considered a weapon.
Yes.
I strongly agree with that. And I think, just my opinion, I think there's a chance that, if there was a civilization out there and they were looking to visit different planets, they could have passed by when our planet was in prehistoric age and be like, no, that life isn't interesting, or no, that life isn't going to ever advance to be able to communicate with us, or obviously
yeah,
there's no humans.
if they pass by, they're like, oh,
or they might not be coming for another 50 years.
Dude, if they had passed by before, they would have been like, okay, look, they would have scanned and maybe even come down and checked and probed or whatever they do, and they're like, okay, these are what they have. These are all the elements on the periodic table of elements that they have that they could use, and unfortunately, none of these things are beneficial to us, and or them to build a world that could be technologically advanced, but not to the level that we have.
We could have just been overlooked as an option to visit, or for all we know, they could be on their way back after, saying, hey, it'll take this long for life to develop, possibly if they've already seen it, and if they're advanced enough and they've been around long enough to see that kind of thing happen, maybe they're just waiting for the right time. You never know. Maybe what we're doing is we're the ones that are out there probing for older life. Mm-hmm. We never know.
It's a crazy topic, man.
It really is.
But I believe we've come to our 1 hour mark.
Approximately.
And we just want to say thanks to all of you wonderful people that have been
listening
and enjoying
and supporting
our podcast.
Sorry.
I
cut out.
Wow, dude, you're trying to ruin the outro of this?
I'm sorry, A.
Sorry, man.
I'm sorry, A.
I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna fucking. Actually, we don't do that. We're nice people. And for that,
I'm gonna hug you and apologize.
I'm gonna hug you and just have a good rest of our night. And I hope that all of you do as well.
Suggest us topics in the comments. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about.
And we'll catch you next time on another episode of Sorry, A.
Sorry, A.